In Season 4 of Stranger Things, 9 months have passed since the Mind Flayers' defeat at the Starcourt Mall. 11 has moved with the Byers family to California, forcing her and Mike into a strained long-distance relationship. Mike and Dustin also begin to have a strained relationship with Lucas and Max. Lucas has joined the high school basketball team and befriended the popular jocks led by Jason, while Max is pulled away from everyone as she continues to grieve the death of Billy. Mike and Dustin join the Hellfire Club, the school's Dungeons & Dragons club, which is led by the eccentric outcast Eddie Munson. When Jason's cheerleader girlfriend Chrissy is plagued with headaches and nightmarish visions, she pays Eddie a visit to buy drugs to cope with her symptoms. While in Eddie's trailer, Chrissy becomes possessed by an evil force from the Upside Down, which brutally murders her. When Chrissy's body is found, Eddie goes on the run as he becomes the police's prime suspect. Jason and his gang of bully jocks lead the charge in labeling Eddie and the Hellfire Club a group of satanic devil worshippers responsible for Chrissy's death, and attempt to find Eddie to enact vigilante justice. As Mike departs Hawkins to spend his spring break with 11 in California, Dustin, Max, and Lucas team up with Nancy, Steve, and Robin to uncover the truth behind Chrissy's murder. The group explains to Eddie their previous experiences with the Upside Down, and name this new evil threat Vecna, who continues to possess and murder high school students. Nancy and Robin follow a lead to the Pinhurst Psychiatric Institution, where they interview a man named Victor Creel, who had been in prison decades prior for murdering his family. Victor explains to them that after his wife and young children moved into their new home in Hawkins, they experienced similar horrific visions as Chrissy before being possessed and killed. Victor was arrested for their deaths after no one believed his story. Nancy also figures out from hearing Victor's story that hearing his favorite song was what pulled him out of Vecna's possession and saved his life. Meanwhile, Max discovers that all of Vecna's victims experienced severe headaches and nosebleeds, and were suffering from PTSD from past traumas, the same symptoms Max was currently experiencing. And that's when Max realized that Vecna was possessing her as well. Fearing that Vecna could kill her at any moment, Max writes letters to all of her friends, then heads to Billy's grave to read him a letter. At the gravesite, Max is possessed and taken to Vecna's altar in the Upside Down, where he prepares to kill her. Nancy and Robin manage to relay to the others that music can break Vecna's possession, and they play Max's favorite song to her. This helps Max fight Vecna off and escape the Upside Down, saving her life. Dustin theorizes that new gates to the Upside Down were being opened at the site of Vecna's murders. When Steve investigates the bottom of Lover's Lake to confirm Dustin's theory, he is pulled into the Upside Down and attacked by bat-like creatures. Nancy, Robin, and Eddie enter the Upside Down to save Steve, but are unable to return through the gate due to it being guarded by more of the creatures. And so the group decides to make their way through the Upside Down to Eddie's trailer to find another exit. Back in the real Hawkins, as the police begin to investigate the Hellfire Club for their involvement with Eddie, Dustin, Max, Lucas, and Lucas's sister Erica flee the cops and their parents to head to Eddie's trailer and save their friends. They manage to save Robin and Eddie from the Upside Down, but before Nancy escapes, she becomes possessed by Vecna. Meanwhile, Mike arrives in California to spend his spring break with 11 and the Byers family. He quickly discovers that although 11 had told him she was doing great, she was actually depressed and mercilessly bullied. 11 was also upset with Mike for not telling her he loved her. Will had his own issues with Mike, feeling abandoned by his best friend who only seemed to care about 11. And Jonathan was dealing with his own relational issues, too afraid to tell Nancy that he was having second thoughts about their college plans, wanting to stay close to protect his family. The kids quickly have the house to themselves as Joyce receives a message from Harbour, revealed to have survived the Starcourt Mall explosion and was currently imprisoned in Russia. A kindly prison guard named Antonov agrees to help Harbour escape and tells Joyce to bring $40,000 to a Russian pilot in Alaska. Joyce teams up with Murray Bowman to head to Alaska, where they meet the eccentric pilot Yuri. Yuri betrays them, drugging Joyce and Murray, ratting out Antonov to the other Russians, and thwarting Hopper's escape attempt. As Yuri flies a captured Joyce and Murray to turn over to the Russians, they escape their binds and Murray uses his new black belt skills to subdue Yuri. they hatch a plan to break Harper out of prison, with Murray posing as Yuri to deliver Joyce and the real Yuri to the Russians. The plan works, and the group are allowed to enter the prison, where they are taken to watch Harper, Antonov, and a group of prisoners fight a Demogorgon. Harper uses his prior experiences with the creature to save his and Antonov's lives, while Murray and Joyce reveal their ruse, subduing the guards and unlocking the doors to allow Harper and Antonov to escape. Harper and Joyce have an emotional reunion, but they were still stuck in a Russian prison with a loose Demogorgon with no discernible way home. Back in California, after her bullies publicly humiliate her, 11 finally snaps and assaults one of them. After being arrested, 11 is saved by Dr. Owens, who warns her of everything that was happening back in Hawkins. While higher-ups in the government believe 11 could be responsible and was too dangerous, Owens assures her that he believes she was good and had been working on a program that could give her her powers back. 11 agrees to go with Owens to attempt to restore her powers and save Hawkins from Vecna, while 2 of Owens' men are tasked with protecting Mike, Will, and Jonathan. When armed soldiers attack the Byers' house, the boys flee with Jonathan's stoner friend Argyle and race to find Owens and 11. Owens takes 11 to a secret underground lab where he reveals that he has been working with a very much alive Dr. Brenner to develop an isolation tank known as Nina that would allow 11 to access her forgotten memories and reawaken her powers. Inside Nina, 11 remembers her time in Hawkins' labs under the care of Dr. Brenner, where she was bullied by her fellow superpowered experiments. 11 had been befriended by a kind orderly who warned 11 that Brenner wasn't to be trusted. Eventually, the orderly revealed himself to be One, the first child experimented on by Brenner, who had a device in his neck that suppressed his powers. 11 helped remove the device to allow them both to escape, but the orderly instead massacred everyone in the lab. It turned out the orderly was actually Henry Creel, the son of Victor Creel. He had used his psychic abilities to murder his mother and sister, and though Victor was told Henry died, he was actually placed in the care of Brenner. And now that 11 knew his villainous secret, he was going to kill her too. 11 managed to overpower Henry, ripping open the first portal to the Upside Down and sending Henry through it, where he was transformed into Vecna.